Morning, everybody. How you doing? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? How you doing? Hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're all in a good mood and ready for some fun today. Today is Sunday, the 26th of September, 2021, and I'm getting started here a little early. Usually, I let the pre-stream run a little bit longer, but I'm sitting here chatting it up with everyone in the chat, and I decided to start early today. Yes, I did. So how you doing? Obviously, I'm excited for today. Today's a more chill day for sure. Excuse me. You know, no competitive gameplay today. And nothing too tense or crazy today, which is good. More relaxing gameplay day. Also here in Washington State, it has gotten much cooler. The fall weather has finally arrived for good. From what I'm seeing, like the next 1.5 to 2 weeks, supposedly we're getting real autumn weather now, which means cloudier skies, rain on and off, temperatures that are in the 60s or below, which is excellent. It means that for streaming for me, it is nice and relaxing in the office. I've got the fan oscillating and going, blowing the air into the office, and it makes it nice and cool in here. This is my favorite time of the year for streaming because of the weather, and of course because of the wide variety of great new games that I'll be playing. Of which I have an update today. I'll be talking in the schedule here a little bit more about games that I'll be playing soon, which is exciting. We actually had a discussion in the stream chat this morning about getting vaccinated for COVID. And, you know, earlier this year, I made it a policy on my streams. I didn't want to talk about it because sadly, there were so many people that were making it political, which it's not at all. It's scientific. I don't know why people think that getting vaccinated for a deadly disease is political. It's not, and it never will be. Okay? But anyway, people are talking about getting vaccinated and their reactions to getting vaccinated and things like that. I certainly hope that those of you out there who watch my stuff, you know, understand that my take is that you should be vaccinated against this thing. This is a situation where the safety of yourself and all of those around you, in my opinion, and you can disagree here, I can't make you not disagree with me, but I feel that this is a situation where your personal freedoms, maybe in this case, don't trump the ability of the others around you to survive because you decided to make a personal choice not to get a life-saving vaccine. I'm just saying. But again, I can't make anyone do anything, right? But that's kind of been my take. And that being my take, a lot of people, oh my God, that's offensive. How could you be so offensive on your stream and say shit like that, right? This is why I really didn't make it a major topic of discussion this year, while a lot of other people were. I didn't want to have arguments and disagreements on my gameplay streams about this. At this point in the year, okay, I feel that like most people, even those who are holdouts, kind of understand the importance of this vaccine. And I would hope that if some of you out there who are listening to me right now are holding out, I hope that you'll take it, all right? I can't make you. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to yell and scream and stomp my feet. But, you know, at this point, with, you know, how badly this thing has affected everyone around the world, a year and a half, right? A year and a freaking half that we've been through this, and there's no signs of stopping, right? You've got to think that at some point, reason will prevail with people who are holdouts, but I don't know. Some people just have these such staunch beliefs based on literally nothing but emotion. And I've noticed this, the older I get, I see people who they have belief systems based off of reasoning and facts and logic and evidence, science. And then there's people who literally have beliefs based solely off of emotion. And not to say that there's anything wrong with having emotion being a major part of your decision-making process in your life. I think it's a factor. It's one of many factors that should come into play when you're doing things as, you know, as an adult, right? But to me, I don't know. I really, when you get this far into the process, a year and a half in to COVID, right? And you still got these people who are holdouts and they literally don't have a reason. I think it's more about fear. Seriously, I think it's more about people are just afraid. They're afraid that they're going to be the 0.00001% where they get the vaccine and somehow have a bad reaction to it, which is such a small, negligible amount of people. But I mean, let's be honest here. They exist, right? There's always that unlucky few who sadly don't get the same as everyone else. And yeah, they will have a bad reaction to a vaccine, right? But it's so negligibly small, you know? And the fact that this vaccine is essentially stopping a killer virus. This is not, you know, as in the early days of COVID when everyone was talking about it a year and a half ago, everyone was like, oh, it's the flu or whatever. But now we know it's not. Now we know it spreads way worse than the flu and it kills worse than the flu. Due to the way that it attacks and you know, many factors. So, I don't know. My take on it is, I would hope that you guys would get the vaccine if you haven't. All right? I can't imagine what you're holding off for at this point. Really. I just can't imagine why you're waiting. There's places in the world, just to give you some perspective. Places, Africa. There's places here, countries who there's not a single dose. People are dying in droves. They can't help it because they didn't get the vaccine. Here we have way more than enough vaccine, and people say, I don't want it. Wow. That just blows my mind. It really does. That completely blows my mind. But again, it's your personal choice, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. But when you hear the stories of, oh, person dying in hospital says to nurse, oh man, I should have got vaccinated. No shit. It's like, you don't want to prevent what's going to happen until it happens, then you wish you prevented it, right? Like, man driving car, flies through windshield, into building, lies on floor, body completely destroyed and crippled, and says, darn, I wish I wore my seatbelt. But think about it this way. Think about it this way. When seatbelts first came out, people didn't want to wear them. For us today, who drive regularly, we're all used to seatbelts, right? Like, it's just a part of life. Ever since I was growing up and started to learn to drive in the 90s, seatbelts were required. So for me, the first day I sat down in a car, I had to put on a seatbelt. So I've always done that. But there were people who didn't. There were, like my dad. I'll be honest with you guys. My dad, when he was growing up, seatbelts were not required. It didn't become a law until much later that you had to wear seatbelts for safety. So my dad had an issue. I'm serious. My dad had an issue for a while. Not anymore, of course. But for a while, when seatbelts were first made to be the law, he had an issue wearing a seatbelt. Oh, I don't want to wear a seatbelt. It should be my decision. I've never had to do this before, right? But then when people had to do it for the law, people started getting pulled over and getting $100, $200 tickets for not doing it, right? And everything. And it just became a common practice, all right? Then, all of a sudden, it wasn't an issue anymore, right? And the thing that really gets to me about this vaccine for COVID is, you do realize that vaccines have always been required pretty much anywhere in the United States. Now, I don't know if you're international, if you don't live in the United States, I certainly can't speak to what situation you're in right now. I have no idea. I don't know, what's going on in other countries. All I know is that in this country, when I was a kid and I was going to go to school, I had to be vaccinated for a bunch of stuff. Measles, mumps, polio. I think it was polio. I don't remember. It was like 3 or 4 vaccines that every kid absolutely had to have. If you didn't have evidence that you were vaccinated, you weren't allowed to go to school. You were told, no, you have to be vaccinated first. And that was the norm. So it blows my mind that for some reason this vaccine, which is like life-saving, right? Proven to be life-saving. Why is it such an issue for people that they don't want to take it, right? I don't know. But I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about this at length today. You know, I really haven't. Oh, I've almost never talked about it because, like I said, I really don't want to cause problems on my streams. Jasper, what are you doing? Being silly. Look at my toes again. um, talking a little bit about it. When I got my first dose of the vaccine, the first dose, made me have soreness. Like I had muscle soreness in my foot, in my armpit, and I'm like kind of like in my arm, of course, where they injected it, and a lot on my left side of my body because they injected the left side of the body, and that's kind of where I had. Jasper, don't do this. Don't play with the wires. I got a twisty here. I'll toss it if you want it. But that's where I had the issue. The first time that I got the vaccine, the second dose, I still got the muscle soreness, but man, it did for like I'd argue like 2 days. It made me feel very, very tired. Like I don't think I had a fever, but I think like I just felt exhausted for like 2 days after getting the second dose. And likely that's because my body was trying to fight off this protein. For those who don't know, because I did some research about this vaccine, the way this vaccine works is you are not getting the virus. You're not. A lot of people have this misconception, oh, well, the vaccine means you're getting the virus. No, actually, you're not. What they're doing is they're injecting a protein into you. This protein is the same protein the virus uses to attach itself to your blood cells. Okay? It's like a rope. Think of it this way. It's like a grappling hook. So COVID jumps into your body and uses grappling hooks to hook onto your blood cells and then infect them. Okay? What essentially the vaccine is they're injecting those grappling hooks into your body without the virus. It's just a grappling hook that hooks onto your blood cell, and your blood cell says, what the hell is this? And it fights it off. You know, the white blood cells come out, they say, get that shit off. They brush off the grappling hooks. So now they know how to get those grappling hooks off of the blood cells. Okay? So when the real virus rears its ugly head and invades your body, it's like, nah, you ain't coming in here. We already saw this crap before. We know how to get rid of these grappling hooks. Now, it's not foolproof. No vaccine is foolproof. Okay? So you could still get it, but likely if you do get it and you're vaccinated, what happens is your body can at least get rid of a lot of the grappling hooks. Maybe it can't get rid of all of them, but you won't get nearly as sick as if you were completely unvaccinated and your whole body is bombarded with this fucking thing. You see? So the difference here, and I was actually just talking to someone in the stream chat about this before I started talking. The difference is if you're unvaccinated and you get sick with COVID, you're likely going to the hospital, especially with these new strains, the Delta strain, and now apparently there's another one. These strains are worse than the original one from last year, and they actually hurt you even worse, okay? So you're going to the hospital, and by the way, if you haven't heard, health insurance companies in the United States have decided, they all came together and decided they're no longer covering COVID because their legal feeling is that if there's a vaccine out there that's free and available to everyone in the United States and it prevents COVID, that's preventative care and that should be free. But if you actively choose not to get the vaccine and you don't have a good reason for example, a medical or I guess religious reason, if you just say, I just don't want to get it, and you don't get it and you get COVID, their opinion is you had the prevention. You ignored it, so we're not going to cover your treatment. We don't care about you anymore because it's your own fault. Okay? So, yeah, that's the deal, is if you don't get vaccinated and you get sick and you end up in a hospital, they're not going to cover it. You're going to get ridiculous medical bills that likely are going to ruin your life, because I don't know if any of you have ever been to the emergency room. Just stepping foot into the emergency room is like a $10,000 bill. And that's not an exaggeration. In the United States, that's how much medical care costs. So you better hope that you have health insurance to cover you. And in this case, COVID is no longer covered. Now, here's the difference. If you are vaccinated and you get COVID, chances are you're still going to get sick, but you're not going to be nearly as sick. For example, most people who get it when they're vaccinated say, it's like a 2-week annoying cold. You know, you're coughing and, annoying symptoms, but it goes away like a normal cold. You just treat it like a normal cold. Over-the-counter shit, you stay home, right? Don't go grocery shopping. You order your food or whatever at home. Order stuff in for delivery or whatever for 2 weeks and then back to normal. I was actually just saying to people in the stream chat, if I were to get sick with COVID, I'm fully vaccinated, but if I were to get sick with COVID, I would try to tough through it probably and just keep streaming. I mean, I'm stuck at home anyway. That's my job, right? So I would probably just try to tough through it, and it would be like a live thing where we'd be able to see, gee, what's it like having COVID if you're vaccinated, and what were my symptoms and everything, and that would be like a live example. By the way, fuck no, I don't want to get COVID. I was just saying to people in the stream chat, man, this past year and a half has been good because I didn't get sick at all. Usually, and you guys know this for regulars here, usually around the springtime when all the pollen comes out, usually I get slammed with a cold because my defenses break down because I have allergies, and I end up getting pretty, not necessarily like sick, but usually I get congested, my throat swells up, and I got all these issues for several weeks, okay? This past 2 years now, that hasn't happened. Yeah, seriously. It hasn't happened at all, which is great. That's hell. I've actually said, listen, do I want us all to be living with masks on forever? Hell no. I find personally, and here's my take, because again, this is stuff I haven't really talked about. I just felt like talking about it today because we're so far into COVID at this point. I think we could talk about it now. The mask, I fucking hate it. You want to know why? Because I got a beard. And when you have a beard and you put on that mask, your beard warms up and it becomes sometimes moist because of the condensation from your breath. And it's disgusting. It's fucking nasty. Like, seriously, it's gross. Especially if, like, you go out and you eat and then you put a mask on for the rest of the day. Guess what you're smelling like for the rest of the day? You know? It's not good. You know? It's not. It's fucking gross. I don't want to wear a mask forever. I don't. I hate it. At the very same time, the fact that I haven't been sick in a year and a half, you know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. There's been some pretty positive benefits from this whole 6 feet, cleaning yourself constantly, wearing a mask kind of a deal. Personally, I don't give two fucks about what people look like outside of my house. I don't care if they're wearing a fucking hazmat suit. As long as they're not getting me sick, I don't care. So, I honestly haven't really seen so much of a negative. The big negative is a lot of businesses have really been hurt. A lot of businesses that used to thrive on open travel and open availability of customers to come in and stuff, they have failed. I've seen restaurants out here that were very popular restaurants completely close. Completely close. Okay? And that's not good. That's not good at all. To see that a thriving business has gone out of business because of COVID, you know? It's fucking terrible. And, you know, it's hard for me to... I certainly don't have any answers on this. You know, I hate to see life kind of change permanently because of this, right? I think at this point, a lot of us are just kind of accepting it. We're like, dude, it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years, going on 2 years now, and we've seen the changes firsthand of what's going on, and we're just kind of like, all right, I guess it's just going to be like that. It's weird, though, because here in the United States, and again, I don't know, whatever country you guys live in, I don't know, but in the United States, it is so fucking weird. So we live in a country where everyone lives in a particular state. Each state is determining how to handle COVID. In one state, everything is closed. In another state, everything's open, but there's limitations where you have to be masked. You have to stand 6 feet away. There's, limitations on the capacity of how many people can be in a building. In another state, everything's open, but there's no limitations on capacity, but you still have to be masked. And then in other states, there's no limitations at all. Everything's open as if nothing's going on. So you could live in one state and act like, life is normal, but everyone's getting sick with COVID because there's nothing being done about it. Then there's another state where you can't do shit because everything's closed. It's like, what is going on? It's so weird. Now, luckily, I live in one of the most liberal states in the country, Washington. And initially it was like lockdowns. Now things have eased up to the point where everything's open again, but there's limitations. You have to be masked. And now they just started doing this, okay? As of, I think they said late October, in order to do certain activities, we're going to have to prove that we're vaccinated. And, I mean, we're fine. We have our cards, and we took pictures. We have all the data to show, hey, we're vaccinated, we're good. But I think some of the things that they said is you can't eat inside of a restaurant. You can't go to, like, any kind of a mass gathering, like a sports game and stuff like that. They're basically going to make it so that you have to prove that you've been vaccinated, or have evidence that you took a COVID test and tested negative within like 2 days before, or else they will not let you in. Now, the funny thing about this is exactly what I said last year when they had the lockdowns, okay? Even though we have these mandates in Washington State about it, no one enforces it. Okay? What I mean is that, for example, let's say right now, there's a store, and the store's policy is, we won't let anyone into our store if you don't wear a mask. Okay? Fair enough. That's the policy. You can't come in without a mask. If someone just walks in without a mask, all you can do is say, hey, sir, please, mask policy. And if he ignores you, like, oh, fuck off. You know, what are you going to do? Physically throw him out? Now you've assaulted the customer. Can't do that. Call the police. The police aren't going to show up for that. The police last year here outright said, we got more important things to deal with. We're not tossing customers out of a store because they're not wearing a mask or whatever, right? So it's funny because even though our state has these mandates in place that the governor keeps putting out, okay, I don't know how anyone's supposed to enforce them. You can't physically eject a customer. That's assault. You can't call the cops because the cops don't come for it. So what are you supposed to do? I don't understand. And our governor doesn't give any answers on this. You know? And this is what I mean. This is how weird it is in America. Or I should say the United States, because America is both North and South America. In the United States, every state is different. Every state's doing it completely differently. So at the end of October, for me to walk inside of a restaurant and sit down with my wife to have a meal, I have to show them my COVID card or a picture of my COVID card. Okay? But down in Florida or Texas, which are full-on conservative Republican states, they don't have any limitations, but their hospitals are overflowing with sick people, to the point where hospitals are now saying we have to restrict care to people because we can't just help every person. We don't have the capacity anymore because everyone here has COVID. So this is so weird. It's been such a fucking weird year and a half, man. Really, it's so weird. So I don't know. My take on it is, again, in summary, I'm glad I got to talk about this for a little bit. And by the way, guys, those of you who are here live, thank you for not freaking out. People are actually being very reasonable. There's some people in the stream chat who agree that everyone should be vaccinated. There's other people who disagree, and we're all being nice about it, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want that when we talked about it, that people get angry at each other and shit, okay? We're all being nice to each other, and that's a good thing. Okay, it is. That's a good thing. So, what I would say is, my opinion on the subject is very simple. You should all get vaccinated if you can. If it's available to you, it's free, it's gonna possibly help you and or save your life or the life of a loved one or even a stranger on the street, right? You never know. Get it if you can. There's a lot of people who are against it. I don't really understand the rationale of why. Every time that I hear some rationale, it gets debunked and then they have nothing to say, but I really don't get it. Like, some people, I feel like they just feel like it's their personal freedom to do whatever they want. And I kind of get what you're saying, but at the very same time, there are situations where things are so important. All right, I know a lot of people are going to laugh at me, and that's okay because people laugh at me every single day. All right, but the way I look at it is this, and I know this is going to be silly. All right, there is a quote that is funny because it's from pop culture, and there's a quote that I feel is actually a great way to live your life, but a lot of people don't understand the quote, I feel, or they've turned it into a joke because it's been part of pop culture for so long. All right? You ready for the quote? Because I know some people are going to laugh at me for this. Okay? All right, the quote is as follows. Schwiggity, schwaggity, schwooty, I'm coming for your booty. No, that's not it. That's the wrong quote. Sorry, I got confused. All right, no, the real quote is, you ready? With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben from fucking Spider-Man is one of the wisest people, even though he didn't exist. I think it was actually either Steve Ditko or Stan Lee wrote the line. But that just, here's the thing. In the United States, okay, in the United States, we have unprecedented freedoms, right? The freedom to choose our leaders, the freedom to bear arms, the freedom to decide what we're going to wear, how we're going to act, where we're going to work, what we're going to eat. We have all these freedoms. On a daily basis, we have all these freedoms, right? And that is great power. It is. It's insane amount of power that we have in our daily lives because we are Americans. I think a lot of Americans take that completely for granted, especially when you go on social media and you see people bitching about every little possible fucking thing in their lives. But then you actually read news stories about across the world where people are subjugated and treated like dirt. Women are objectified and treated like belongings, and they don't have the rights of men. And then you go on Twitter and you see someone complaining that their name was spelled wrong on their caramel macchiato, right? It's like, Jesus Christ, get some fucking big worldview perspective on things and stop bitching like a little child, okay? But the thing is, we have so much freedom in the United States that we take it for granted. And then when we get a situation like this, okay, where something is so dire, something is so serious, okay, that we have a possible way to at least help it. Not fix it, not end it. We know that vaccines are not going to end this pandemic. They're not. They're just going to basically alleviate it to the point where it's not as big of a problem anymore. And my personal feeling, and you can disagree with me, is that eventually COVID will be like any other illness, where it's just going to be a part of human life. There's going to be COVID season, just like there's flu season. And every year it's going to come back. And some people will get vaccinated for it, some won't. Usually people who are higher risk will want to get vaccinated, just like if they were higher risk for flu or whatever. And it's going to be a point where it's so common that it's not a big deal anymore. But we're not there. This is brand new, and we're way too early. This thing is a huge problem right now, right? But my point here is that with all the unprecedented freedoms and power that we have as Americans, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're using those freedoms in a very, very safe and responsible way for both ourselves and those around us, right? In America, we have the right to bear arms. Does that mean we have the right to go outside with a giant machine gun and just unload in the middle of the street? Of course not. There's limitations on the freedoms that we have within reason for the safety of yourself and those around you. I can buy a chainsaw and I can use it in my yard to do important yard work, but I can't go into the street spinning around with two chainsaws chopping everything in sight. You see what I'm saying? That's a limitation on my freedom that makes sense for the safety of myself and others around me, okay? We have the ability to choose what we want to do, right, in life. But if we have a situation where it's life or death, it's dire, it's a situation where if you take this vaccine, you have a significantly increased chance to survive, and or you have a chance to have other people around you survive because you took this vaccine. I just don't understand how some Americans, I should stop saying Americans, I should say people in the United States. I don't understand why people in the United States think that this is a responsible use of their freedom to ignore that. Oh, well, science says this will help me, this will help those around me. That's what the science says. But since I have the personal freedom to ignore that, I will choose to ignore that. How is that being responsible exactly? Right? I would argue that's the opposite of responsibility. You're being completely irresponsible with the powers that have been given to you as a citizen in the United States. You've actively chosen to ignore something that's good for you and everyone around you, right? I mean, I understand a lot of people are like, okay, I'm afraid of the vaccine. I'm going to get heart disease. I'm afraid of the vaccine. It's going to have side effects we don't know about. You know, some people have these zany, loony things. Oh, the vaccine has microchips in it that track our movements. Sure. The vaccine turns you into a Martian if you get injected, apparently, okay? But to me, I'll become a Martian if it means that I can protect myself, my family, and those around me who I care about. And some people, I feel, sadly, just don't care enough. I think that's what it really comes down to, is that a lot of people just don't care enough. And you know what? I see, and here's Big Old Bean, and I will actually agree with him on this one. Because as you guys know, a lot of the times I come out with opinions on things that are kind of not necessarily mainstream. And he says, yeah, there's been 8 new billionaires since COVID. You're right. This whole pandemic has actually made people rich. this whole pandemic, whether it's the vaccines themselves that have been, so profitable for these companies making them, or it's basically those in power have found a way to spin this whole thing to be a moneymaker for them. That's fucked up. That's sick. No one should be profiting off of mass deaths and misery. We all know that. See, that's the thing. We all have this moral compass where we can collectively sit down and agree on that, right? Well, I think we can. In this whole situation, whether you're vaxxed or not, I think you can agree. Why the hell are there people who are making a fortune off of the mass deaths of others? That's completely immoral, right? But that being said, a person becoming rich because I took the vaccine is not enough to convince me to not take the vaccine and put myself, my family, and others at risk. For me, it's the greater good. Again, with great power comes great responsibility. Your power to choose what you do with your freedoms should always lean you towards the morally right thing to do, which is to protect yourself and others, right? Not, oh, well, someone might benefit in a very bad way because I got this vaccine, so I'm not going to take it. Well, wait, what? And listen, I hear you. Again, I know a lot of people are nervous or scared. They're going to have side effects. They're going to have these things that are going to happen to them in the long term. I hear you. I completely understand. I do. I'm not an asshole who's going to sit here and say, oh, I'm vaxxed and you're not, and you're a jerk for not getting vaxxed. That's incredibly ignorant. There's a reason why people aren't getting vaxxed, and a lot of people would argue it's just stupidity. I don't think it's just stupidity. I think that there's people out there who are afraid for various different reasons. But my take is there will never be something foolproof in this life, okay? Now that I'm older, I can tell you guys that there's no such thing as security. There's no such thing as safety. There's no such thing as foolproof. It doesn't exist. None of that actually exists. Those words actually don't exist. They're just ideas. They're esoteric things that don't ever happen. You will never be perfectly safe. You will never be perfectly healthy, right? Nothing will ever be foolproof in your entire life. I'm being honest with you now. I'm being real with you, okay? But what you need to do is take calculated choices based on risk. In this case, all the data in science is saying the risk is in your favor. If you get vaccinated, not only will you protect yourself and others, but long term, things will be okay. There will always be people who that's not the case. You may be the unlucky guy who gets the vaccine, has a bad reaction, and now you're screwed. But the cases are so slim of that happening, and the overwhelming evidence that the vaccine is helping, I would argue that you should get it. But that's my take, and you can disagree with me, and that's okay. This is not a place where I'm going to sit here and spread misinformation. This is not a place where I'm going to try to scare you. I'm not. This is just me being real with my audience, okay? And it's funny because Lennon McCarthy says Phil's take is more nuanced than most liberals. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal and I'm not a conservative. It's hilarious because people think I'm both. I'm neither. I've never, ever been one-sided in my life. Now, especially, oh my God, are you kidding me? In the last 13 years that I've been a content creator and I talk with you guys on a daily basis and I see all these different perspectives from all around the world, I have trained myself to see perspective from someone else's shoes. I can put myself into someone else's shoes and say, here's the situation, here's what's going on. And I allow myself to try to understand why someone would do something that I don't necessarily agree with. And boy, have my eyes been open and my horizons have been really broadened since I started thinking and acting like that. And I recommend all of you do it too. This world is not, as I've said many times, this is not black and white. This world is not black and white in any way, shape, or form. There is no right and wrong. There's just many shades of gray and compromise and finding out what's the best thing to do in each particular situation. With me, Uncle Ben. Great power, great responsibility. I feel the right thing to do is get vaxxed. If you disagree, I can't change your mind, but at least I can give you my perspective, okay? Fair enough? And now I burp disgustingly into the mic to end my segment. Very nice. All right, guys, let's move on to gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about what I'm doing this week. Today, my first major stream of Kingdom of Spirits. So far, I've only played this game as a night stream, okay? I've only played it 2 night streams, so about roughly 3.5, 4 hours into it. I like the game, and the game is actually growing on me the more I play it. Now that I've unlocked projectiles, I feel the game's getting better. However, I have not, number one, I've never played this game with headphones on, and people have been telling me I'm really missing out because the audio design of the game is great, and I basically have missed a bunch of opportunity to enjoy the audio design of the game because I'm not wearing headphones on the night streams. That's number one. Okay. And number two, I haven't really had a chance to get further than just a segment or two each time I play it, you see? So now today, I feel like we'll actually get a good tear into the game. We're definitely not beating it today, especially because I've been taking my time looking for collectibles and the like, which adds on hours to the gameplay. But I think we're going to enjoy it. The graphics are great. The story's okay. The story's nothing to write home about, in my opinion. But I definitely think the graphics are good, and now the gameplay elements are actually getting better, and I hope that you'll enjoy a nice chill stream today. A chill stream of Kena Bridge of Spirits, all right? And I'm actually excited to see how far we get and, you know, if anything new unlocks or whatever as we play today. Tonight, the late stream, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, unlike previous weeks, the top contributor of last week did not request that we go anywhere, which kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. That is kind of disappointing. I wish that we had had some input on somewhere to go. So I'm going to rely on your input suggestions tonight, and maybe we'll do another one of those, also those kind of chartered flights in the game where there's a lot of detail, because I think what we had a lot of success with last week was we did a city, then we did nature stuff, and then we did another city. So the variety works. I think that if you do like a city, but then you do something like outdoorsy nature, and then something another city, that works out pretty well. So that's going to be tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Okay? Hope you'll join me for my weekly, very chill flight sim stream. Tomorrow, continuing on with Deathloop, and if you've been following the playthrough, it looks like I'm going to beat it. It looks like I might actually finish the game tomorrow, because I have all but 2 targets lined up and ready for their final assassinations, meaning I know how to do things during the different times of the day to align them so that these guys are all kind of clustered together, and I can get multiple kills at once. So I only need to do 2 more things, and then I figure it out, and then I can do the perfect run day and beat the game. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, I may beat it, I may not, okay? But getting closer to it. Then, tomorrow night, Hades. And man, if you guys were here last night for Hades, that was a crazy good stream. Hades, I got a build going that is so insane. I'm clearing rooms in about 5 to 10 seconds. This is the best build by far I've had. It's using the gun. It's called the Adamant Rail. And because the stream viewers gave me advice on the perks and boons to pick, I am demolishing this game. It's crazy. And now I'm actually about to fight Hades himself. I'm probably going to steamroll him. And I might just do the same build a second time and try to do it again. And if that's the case, now we'll be like 6 completions in. So Hades has been very good recently. I hope you guys will join me tomorrow night for more of that. Okay. Excuse me. Then on Tuesday, we're going to swing back to Lost Judgment. Okay. Which is gotten better now because we're out of that intro story and now we're able to do side content. And yesterday I did a bunch of quirky and silly side missions that were quite fun to do. And I'm looking forward to more of that on Tuesday. Tuesday night is going to be more Kena Bridge of Spirits on the late stream. Okay? Then on Wednesday, it's completely open, and here's why. If I've beaten Deathloop on Monday, then I'm not going to play it again on Wednesday. But if I didn't beat it on Monday, then I will play it again on Wednesday to finish it. Okay? If I did beat it, then that means we could do whatever we want on Wednesday. I could do another stream of Lost Judgment, or we could do something random. Maybe we could jump onto Game Pass and pick one of these games that has come out recently, because I know there's been a bunch of games added to Game Pass. Excuse me. So maybe we'll give one of those a look. Okay? Now, Wednesday night, I'm hoping we can conclude Kena Bridge of Spirits. Okay? My goal is this week to wrap up both Deathloop and Kena Bridge of Spirits. And here's why. Because Thursday's my day off. When I return on Friday, it's going to be the return of Ask the King, which is my bi-monthly Q&A show, where you guys ask questions and I answer them in great detail on a podcast-like setting. And then Friday night's going to be Street Fighter. But I didn't even realize this, but also coming out on Friday is this Super Monkey Ball collection, where basically they've remade like Super Monkey Ball games and put them in a collection. I've never played Super Monkey Ball before, and there's actually been a desire from my viewing audience to see me try out the franchise. So I think I might. I think that would be something fun to do over the weekend. Like maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you know, have Super Monkey Ball balanced in with the other stuff I'm doing. And by the way, do I think I'm going to be playing Super Monkey Ball as several major streams? Probably not. Maybe one, and then maybe it'll become like a night stream or whatever. Okay. But I think that would be pretty fun. I've never played the franchise before. People have asked me to try it out, and I think I will. All right. So that could be something fun to balance out the weekend along with Lost Judgment. Okay. And then next week, we got a crazy amount of stuff going on. On October 5th, we got both the Alan Wake remaster as well as the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl Fighter. All right, that's going to be cool. After that, we got Far Cry 6, and then it just keeps rolling. Like every week, we got another 1 or 2 major releases for the rest of October. Okay? Pretty neat. So that's what's going on. All right? I hope that sounds good to you guys. Because originally I didn't know that Super Monkey Ball was coming out on the 1st. I thought it actually came out the week after. But no, it comes out this Friday. So I could start playing it as early as Saturday. Okay? That would be pretty good, I feel. Okay. So that's the deal. Now, I mentioned Ask the King this coming Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, please post up your questions for Ask the King. The more questions you post up, the better the show is. Really. Like, it's your questions that make the show as good as it is. So I hope that you will do so if you have not yet. Okay, how do you do so? Type ! Ask the King into the stream chat to get the link, or it'll pop up itself every 15 minutes or so. And the more questions I get, the better. Now, if you're a channel member, if you've joined my channel here on YouTube to support the channel, you also get priority access to ask questions. If you check out my community tab here on my main channel page on YouTube here, there's a members only post that you can respond to and post up your questions for Ask the King. I'm going to go through those on Friday and pick some of the best ones, and I'll answer those on the show along with the open questions that people are submitting. Okay? Pretty cool. So I hope that you guys will do that for Ask the King on Friday. All right? Now, another thing that's going on is the preparation for the Halloween event. Every year on Halloween, I do a gaming marathon. I dress up in costume, and we have a good time together. Okay? This year's no exception. We hit 2 different members goals this month. So that means, number 1, you guys are currently nominating games for that event. The way you can do that is by typing !Halloween into the stream chat. Or again, every 15 minutes or so, the link will pop up itself. Post up your nominations for games you want to see on the forums, and the ones that are most nominated will become a poll that you guys will vote on in October to determine what games I will play during the Halloween event. Once again, if you're a channel member, you also get priority access because you get to nominate games exclusively in another members-only community post. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing there. I'm going to narrow it down to the most nominated games and do a poll exclusively for members in October as well. So members, man, you guys are getting extra benefits out the butt this month, right? Like, you're getting tons of things extra on top of all the standard stuff. So congratulations on that. I hope you're enjoying it. So yeah, that's the deal right now. And I hope that you guys will continue to nominate stuff for both the games for Halloween and also post up questions for Ask the King. Now, coming up, hasn't happened yet, coming up in the month of October, you guys are going to get to vote on the category of Halloween costume that I'm going to wear on Halloween. Categories are usually pretty generalized. For example, it'll be like pop culture icon or something like that. Comic book character, video game character, Hollywood movie monster, stuff like that. Okay? And based on what you vote on, I will wear a costume in that category. Now, normally by now, I would already know what the categories are. I don't. This month has been crazy for me. Just stuff behind the scenes going on, as well as drama shit that basically took up my time. Like, this week really was thrown into a disarray for me because I was supposed to have a day off to go out and do stuff, and instead I sat at home doing bullshit behind the scenes all fucking day, and I didn't get a chance to go out there and see what's available for Halloween costumes or anything yet. I will soon. In fact, this coming Thursday, that's exactly what should happen. I should be able to figure out what costumes are out, and we should be able to get categories going. All right? So in October, you guys will be voting on a category, and we'll go from there. Now, also, reminder, coming up in October, okay? Lots of fun stuff. The overlay on the channel is going to change. As you can see right now, the overlay is red. In October, it's going to turn to orange for October. The pop-up messages you guys are seeing, right now, they're more generalized. You're going to have holiday-themed pop-up messages for October, okay? And in addition to all of that, behind me, here in the office, oh my God, that's disturbing, it's so close. Behind me, you'll see Halloween decorations. I do this every year. I usually put up various decorations around me on camera or whatever for the holidays. So you're going to see that all October. It's going to be a pretty festive, fun month. I love doing that for both October, and then I also do it for Christmas and December. I really like having special stuff on the streams. I hope that you guys will enjoy it starting on Friday with Ask the King. That'll be the first stream that should feature all of that stuff. Pretty neat. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't post anything up in the stream chat today, but I will just generally cover it. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, discussion of drama from outside of the stream and trying to cause drama on the stream by derailing it with nonsense is not allowed and never has been. It's always been against the rules. This stream's primary focus is to enjoy games, to hear my honest reactions to a game, okay, that I'm playing, to discuss games and or gaming content, although other times we will go off the rails a little bit and talk about pop culture and other things. In general, this is generally a gaming stream, okay? Please understand that. If you come in here and you try to derail the stream talking about drama and crap that has absolutely nothing to do with the content of the stream, you'll be moderated appropriately, and then you're going to have to try to get unbanned, which is a major pain in the butt. Now, I had a discussion with my moderators last night, okay, because I do feel that in the last day or two there was a little bit of over-moderation on the streams, okay? I do feel that the moderators maybe stepped a little bit outside of the realm of what they should have been doing, and I will openly agree that I think that maybe some people were timed out or banned that should not have been, all right? And so we had the conversation last night. We did. So, hopefully moving forward, this doesn't happen again. And if people do feel like there is rampant over-moderation or mistakes have been made, please contact me and let me know. I will handle it. But please don't freak out. What I mean is, like, what happened? Oh, my God. Someone got timed out. Oh, my God. And you just talk about it on the stream for a half an hour. You're derailing the stream. You're ruining the stream for everyone else by literally bringing up this dramatic shit that has nothing to do with the content of what I'm putting out on the stream. If you didn't notice, when I'm playing a game, I'm not talking about moderation constantly. You know, I'm playing the game. I'm trying to talk about the game. Okay? So please understand that. Please understand why that stuff isn't allowed. Please understand why. Please don't derail the stream. You know, you had people coming in here with certain names and stuff, and then they're, oh, we all have the snow name, and now we're going to post up snow clouds. And now no one can talk. Yesterday I'm trying to play Lost Judgment, and I'm looking to the stream chat, and half the people are like, dude, I can't even talk. These idiots are posting fucking snow clouds. So I had to lay down the laws. Like, dude, you guys are not 5 years old. You know better than that. You're doing it on purpose, and it's not appreciated. You know, I'm trying to put out a fun stream for everyone and have a fun place for people to chill, not come in and see a bunch of dumb shit spammed, and now they can't even talk about the game. Okay? So stop it with that crap. I mean it. Like, that's just immature stuff. You guys know better than that. Okay? And let's have a good time with gaming today. Let's have a chill time. Let's not bring up drama. Let's just have a good one. All right? Fair enough? When do the neck phones arrive? I forgot. I pre-ordered them on Amazon already. And I believe that it's around mid-October is when they're supposed to be released. And then I'm going to get it, of course, right away because I have Amazon Prime, so I should get it within a couple days. So probably I want to argue between the 15th and 20th of October, I should be getting those new headphones / neck phones. And hopefully they're good. I guess we're going to find out. Okay. Okay. Excuse me, that's absolutely disgusting. Ladies and gentlemen, I am an independent content creator. Okay? I'm someone who does not have any sponsorships or partnerships. I don't get paid to say and do anything on my streams. I don't get anything early. I don't get anything for free. I'm just like you. I'm an avid gamer who loves video games and wants to share those experiences with you guys on a daily basis. Now, the good news is, because I'm not someone who deals with these kind of things, I can say and do whatever I want on my streams. When I'm playing a game, I can be 100% honest with you in the moment about what I'm feeling about a game. I don't have to worry about, oh, he lost a sponsorship because he said the wrong thing, or, oh, everything Phil does is a paid advertisement because he's a shill. No, my stuff is genuine and always will be, and I pride myself on that when you tune into my streams, you're getting the real me, you're getting my real opinions on stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're having a good time together, and you guys are able to learn my true opinions about what I'm playing because of that, all right? But because that is the kind of content creator I am, I don't have the opportunities of other people. I don't have that revenue stream rolling in behind the scenes. I rely solely on your crowdfunding efforts to make ends meet and keep this business going. That means contributions on my streams, i.e. crowdfunding from you guys, is my major source of income. So if you like this content, if you have a good time on my streams, and you want to support them and make sure that they can continue, then please contribute in one of the following methods that I am going to outline here on the stream, okay? The first is by becoming a channel member. Excuse me. I already talked a little bit about the benefits of becoming a member. There's already 2 extra benefits this month, but in addition to that, some of the normal benefits of becoming a channel member. Well, number 1, you get a highlighted name in chat. You don't have to abide by the slow mode rules of the chat here. You can talk as much as you want. You also get a chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter, and you get access to all of my emotes. We're currently at 20 emotes. I believe when we hit 300 members, we get a 21st, okay? So those are all great benefits, and I appreciate anyone who becomes a channel member and supports this channel, right? I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you for that. You can also do a super chat or a super sticker. Now, these are ways that you can contribute through YouTube itself, and if you do those, because they're through YouTube, YouTube will highlight your message for you in the stream chat, okay? Whenever you guys contribute in any method, it helps me out, but memberships and super chats and super stickers help me in the long term, meaning there's processing time before I get any kind of benefit from those. If you want to help me out the most, if you want to go out of your way and say, I really want to help Phil as much as I can, please tip me today. Tips are super important for me and my business because tips I get immediately, okay? I get it right away. I can use it towards something important, like a bill or buying a new game or paying taxes or whatever it may be that I need to do. I get tips and I can use them immediately for that. In addition, when you tip me, I get more of a percentage of what you tip me than any other contribution. Meaning, they're going to take a cut of anything you send me, right? Then this isn't all for free, but I get more of a tip than I would get from benefiting from another method of contribution. So that's why tips are so important, okay? Now, I do want to say I've noticed definitely long term things have been improving here with memberships and with super chats. They're going up on a daily basis. I'm seeing more and more. And I appreciate that because that's long-term growth and that's long-term support that's going to allow me to not worry so much about tips, you see? But we're at a point where we're not there yet. I used to make a certain amount on Twitch every single month, and we're not even close. I had 900 subs on Twitch. I only have 288 members here on YouTube. So slow growth, but growth is happening, and I appreciate that. But if you are going to contribute and you want to help the most, please tip me. The reason that we have rewards in effect for tips is because they are so important to me, okay? So, for example, if we raise $50 in tips today, I'll put on a pair of Gunner glasses. If we raise $100 in tips on today's stream, I'll put on a hat of your choice, but it has to be one of the 3 hats that I can wear with headphones. So that would either be the digital hat, the camo hat, or the fake hair hat, okay? And then, if we raise the full tips goal, it's vest time. Now, I know that you guys like the vests. The vests were a big running meme last year. This year, they're the top tip reward goal. If we raise $150 in tips, you get to choose from the following vests: the red, the denim, the camo, and the gold. Why not platinum? Because I wore the platinum last night. That's why. So, all those other vests are eligible today, unless there's an overwhelming demand that I swap one out. Like, for example, Big Old Bean says beige gang. If you wanted me to swap out, like, beige for camo, I'd be willing to do that. That's fine. Okay? So I certainly hope that, again, if you like this stuff, you will consider contributing. It would be great to get some of the rewards in place. Habib Gaming says, when will it be a new vest? Habib Gaming, I don't think we need a new vest. At this point, I have so many, right? If anyone's interested in doing, like, something silly, like, oh, I want to donate a vest that has a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns on it for Halloween or something. I mean, yeah, maybe I consider that, but I'm not going to go out of my way and buy more vests. I already have way too many. It's like, ridiculous. I have, like, 7 vests or something crazy like that. Okay. What I am considering doing is adding more hats. As I've told you guys, once I get these neck phones, and once I start wearing them and they're part of my streams and I've confirmed that they can be used and they don't screw stuff up, I should be able to wear whatever hat I want because I don't have headphones on anymore, right? So we'll see what happens. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for shout-outs. One of my favorite times of the stream. Ready? We'll start off with YouTube shout-outs. And so let me refresh my screen here. I believe the first super chat of the day came in from Tony. Oh my God. Oh, excuse me. What the frick? I'm so sorry, everyone. I was trying to say Tony XP, and as I was about to say XP, a frog leapt out of my throat at the microphone. That was absolutely disgusting. He slapped right off the mic. Holy shit. Okay, let's try this again. Tony XP did a super chat, and he's talking about vaxxing again. So I'm going to read this, but I'm probably not going to comment on it because he's trying to make a sarcastic joke. Listen to this. We should refuse treatment to help people who don't get vaxxed, and also people who have unprotected sex, and also people who get health issues because they're fat. You know, people can argue both ways on that. And maybe one day we'll have that discussion. Maybe we could have that discussion on Ask the King this Friday. That would actually maybe be a very pertinent topic, because maybe you'd like to hear my thoughts on that, okay? But I'm not going to talk about that now because that's going to be way too controversial and people are going to get very upset. So we're not doing it. That's a discussion for another day. Okay. Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate that. Snow Surdo became a channel member. Thank you to Snow Surdo for the membership. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, let's move on to tip contributions for the day. We actually start off with a troll tip who tipped me $28 and says his tip name was not a troll tip. His actual tip name and message was referencing another detractor meme that won't be referenced on this stream. Although, in reality, his name actually is a troll tip. And I'm reading the name a troll tip because his name is a troll tip. But his message said that his name was not a troll tip. But it was a troll tip. Do you understand what I'm saying? No? Let me try this again. So the guy tipped, or gal, I shouldn't assume gender these days because I'll get lynched for it. The guy or gal tipped and said, the name is a troll tip. But in the message of a troll tip, the message says his name is not a troll tip. The actual name and message is referencing another detractor meme that won't be referenced on the stream. But that's what their body of their message said. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying their name really is a troll tip. You see? Okay. Thank you to a troll tip for a $28 tip. That's a lot of tips. That's a big tip. Anso Kamaru has tipped me $1.50. Says it's quite hilarious to see hardcore backpedaling from anti-vaxxers. First they'll complain it's not FDA approved. Then it gets approved by the FDA, and suddenly the FDA can't be trusted anyway. Then they want to eat out, and now I never liked restaurants anyway. Well, again, you heard my take on it. I appreciate hearing your take, but we're not going to keep going on that because it's too controversial. Thank you very much. Let's see here. So Atlas tipped me $1.50 and says paying $10,000 for anything healthcare related is crazy money for me because I live in Europe. I don't think I would have paid $10,000 total for my entire lifespan, all included, until I'm old and die. Monthly premiums are $150, maybe $400 yearly deductible for a few things. Well, okay, let me give you some perspective, okay, on American healthcare. All right, right now, I'm healthy, okay? I don't have any pre-existing conditions, and I almost never go to the doctor, right? In the years that I've had health insurance, I didn't even go to the doctor last year until my ear infection got so bad that they demanded that they see it in person to keep giving me meds for it. But basically, the insurance covered the ear meds, the one doctor's clinic visit, and 5 years before that, I saw a doctor for my gout problem, okay? So that was one visit, and then I had a bunch of tests, like I had a blood test and an x-ray, and by the way, those both I had to pay for. Those weren't covered by the insurance. I had to pay for those tests. Before then, I couldn't even tell you the last time. I think the last time I went to the doctor before that was because right before I moved across the country to move to Washington, I had a really bad cold and my throat was infected and swollen. And so I went to a clinic and a doctor looked at it and confirmed that it wasn't anything too bad. I wanted to make sure I didn't have some crazy bad problem before I moved across the country. Okay? So in the past, arguably the past 10 years, all right, I've probably went to the doctor 3-4 times and barely ever used my health insurance. Right now, I'm paying about $300 a month for health insurance. I used to pay over $450 a month for health insurance. That's how expensive it is here in the United States. And that's with no conditions. If I had pre-existing conditions, it would be more expensive. But I don't, luckily. I don't have like, oh, he has an ongoing issue or anything. So it would be even worse if that was the case, okay? Now, by the way, I don't have a $400 deductible. My deductible right now is like $7,000. I'm not exaggerating. Right now, if I go to the doctor, they'll do a copay, and I'll have to pay probably like $20. But if they do anything above and beyond what's considered preventative care, let's say I break my arm, and I got to go to get it cast and all that shit. Get it set, get it cast. I will get thousands of dollars of bills in the mail. Even though I have health insurance, I will get thousands of dollars of bills in the mail. That's how American healthcare works. You know? So anyway, isn't that delightful? So you live in Europe, and now you know how it is over here. It's completely different. It's completely fucked over here. That's what we live with for healthcare. That's why it's hilarious, because over the years, you know, before COVID, like I told you guys, once a year, I'd usually get pretty sick around the springtime. I'd get pretty sick with my allergies, and then I would usually get a cold. And people would say, why aren't you going to the doctor? Like, are you crazy? To walk into the doctor, because it's not preventative care, is going to be hundreds of dollars. If they do anything, a test, prescribe a medicine, it's hundreds of dollars. So yeah, maybe I'll get a medicine to make me slightly feel better, and I'll pay $2,000 for it. So why would I go to the doctor? I'm going to feel a lot worse having to pay $2,000 to get rid of my sniffles than if I just stay home and tough it out. So, you know, there you go. Let's continue. Alice Telemon did a $1.50 tip, sadly forgot to put a message, so he did a second tip. I appreciate that, Atlas. He says, did you have the best Hakan at one point in Street Fighter 4? If not, who did? I can't wait for you to play Street Fighter 6, but I'm afraid that it could take a while. I have no idea, because if you remember when Hakan came out, I believe it was Super Street Fighter 4, I wasn't in the competitive community anymore. At that point, I had stepped back from that and barely ever went to tournaments and barely gave a shit. In fact, the only time I even played in a tournament with Hakan was I'd gone to a Connecticut tournament where my friends convinced me to go with them. They wanted to play in the tournament. I didn't. I didn't care. But they had convinced me to go with them. And I went and I said, fine, I'll enter. And then I played Hakan and I beat like a great Guile player with Hakan on stream. And everyone laughed at him and made fun of him at the tournament because he lost to Hakan. So there you go. But no, do I think I had the best Hakan? No. I don't think I had the best Hakan. I really don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. There are people out there who were playing hardcore competitive, and I was not on that level. So the answer is no. Rob on Wheels has tipped me $5. Said, I went to a charity event in the garden of my favorite pub yesterday. There's a little card of pro wrestling from a local promotion. It was a great laugh. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that you could do that kind of stuff with COVID and everything. I hope that everyone was safe, but at the same time, that sounds like a fun time, man. Thank you for the support, Rob. And thanks for sharing. Snow Carlos did $1.50. Says, I want to apologize for the joke I made yesterday. I thought about it. You're right. Some jokes can concretely cause hurt. I'm an example that you're not an unfair guy who bans and kicks people for nothing. For those who don't know, yesterday, a newcomer to the streams, who was a genuine newcomer, someone who had just become a channel member and was liking the content, asked publicly in the chat, hey, what's the best way to support Phil? Snow Carl, who's a regular here and knows all the answers, tells the guy, oh, you should do Super Chat. Super Chat's the best way to help. Everyone knows that. And he's basically trolling. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you lie to a newcomer? Like, that's mean. Because the newcomers here, they're enjoying the vibe of the stream. They ask a genuine, honest question, and you gotta lie to them and be a troll? Like, that's fucked up. You know? So, he got banned for it. Of course, then he apologized, and I unbanned him. But this is what I mean, like, no, I'm not a jerk who's going to permanently ban someone just because, you know, there was a good reason. He learned his lesson, hopefully. But, you know, you don't mess around with people. You know? Why are you going to mess with someone who's new and asking a genuinely honest question? You're going to lie to them. Wow, that's a great way to conduct yourself as a regular in my streams, right? So, anyway, I accept your apology. Okay. Did I add that to the total tips? Ah, shit. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 37, 38. I did. Okay. I think we got another super chat, and then I think we could go on break. Guitar Player. Good to see you, Guitar Player. He did a $5 super chat. Says, I just bought the game for PC. I think you'll like it, as long as you're not expecting, you know, oh my god, groundbreakingly amazing. The game basically checks off a lot of the boxes you're looking for in a good game. and the graphics are quite good. I do think the story is a little weak. But I'm enjoying it so far. And like I said, I sadly have not been able to really hear the audio design of the game yet, and now I'm going to get to hear it today. So I am kind of excited about that, and I hope that today we will have a good time here together on stream and enjoy the game. Have a good chunk into it now, because we're doing a major stream of it. So, guys, I'm going to go on break. I'm going to use the bathroom. I recommend you guys grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom yourselves, whatever you'd like to do. I'll be back in a few minutes, and it'll be over 3 hours of Cana Bridge of Spirits. So Star, I'll answer your question after the break. I gotta use the bathroom, all right? I've been asking about my parents and COVID and stuff. I'll answer your question after I use the bathroom, all right? I'll be back in a few, guys. Thanks. I'll see you in a bit.